Hey there, welcome back. I am Ramona. This is the Smell of Logic channel, and today's video is a continuation. What's something you secretly judge people for but are probably an asshole kind of thing. So this is part two. So hope you enjoyed part one. If not, go back and find it and watch it, listen to it, and away we go. Ready? People who have open relationships. I don't care how you rationalize it, but you can't put open and relationship together this way. Either you're open or not dedicated to anyone, or you're in a relationship and dedicated to one person. Sometimes I'm in a grocery checkout line and will judge what people have bought. It's eye-opening how much people or someone can blow their grocery budget on pop and processed food. Again, work for a grocery store, and holy crap, yes, I completely agree with this, 100%. I hate it when people have extremely poor literacy skills and are paid thousands more than me a year. I know it's not a real indicator of their intelligence, but I was always drilled at school that I would never do well unless I had good grammar and could spell. Yeah, that was one thing I was grilled at, so that you must be of a certain age. I'm just going to say that. Same age as me, probably. When I met another grown woman and find out she still lives off her parents or partner, I just can't imagine not having my own money. It's embarrassing. People who have nice haircuts, nails done, lips done, new tattoos, brand name everything, while their kids are in a coat 4 sizes too small with ripped shoes, school shoes. Even more when it's the middle of winter and the kid doesn't have a hat or a coat while they're swanning around with their brand new parka. That and smoking at the school gate. People not brushing their teeth. Any male wearing footwear that exposes his toes, like flip-flops or sandals, unless he's at the beach. People on speakerphone who are really loud. Oh yeah, I think that's not only judgy, but it's very annoying. Being fat. I'm fat. I'm working on it in both ways. I'm gonna be honest. This is a me thing, but when I'm using a public transport and I see someone standing right next to the doors, well, there's a space for them to stand somewhere inside. By standing next to the door, they get in people's way, both coming in and going out, even though they can move further. They don't, and I have this sudden OCD anger, like, why the hell are you standing there? Why do you like being an obstacle in your life? And the urge to kick them off the bus. How they hold their cutlery. Okay, that's a new and different one. Smart, educated people with no common sense. Picky eaters. And before everyone comes at me about sensory processing issues, yes, the neurodivergence is a real thing and this isn't a choice. But if your inability to eat something other than steak and chips at a restaurant goes hand in hand with a loud disdain for foreign muck, then I'm sorry, there's a 90% plus chance that your mummy has made you chicken nuggets for supper your entire life, and you were either raised by a racist or just spoiled. Oh. When you realize that their babies aren't human, they are their pets. Begging for money on social media for your kids' diapers and food because they can't hold down a job for longer than 60 days and have a BD in and out of jail. People who rave and write long as short stories about how their significant other is the best. If anything, that tells me just how unhappy you really are. This one I might get some hate for. Everyone I know, but okay, SAHM. I do not know what that stands for. Every one of them I know always post to Facebook about how tiring it is to be in SAHM, and they mostly always tend to overshare on Facebook. Like, why do you need to know about your kid using the potty for the first time? I literally have a friend like this. Everything her child does gets posted on Facebook. Also, I get that you're tired and you don't want to travel anywhere, but the people who are childless also are tired from working their 9 to 5s and sometimes don't want to come with you. I feel like these people tend to look down on the childless ones, or maybe they're just a bit jealous. I don't know. Also, people who litter, people who say they are the healed versions of themselves but never went to therapy. Just shared a few mental health posts that related to the AKA Facebook therapy. I could keep the list going, but they don't. People who get married way too young. If you marry at 22, how do you even know who you are? It's such an easy way to F up your life. Or getting married just because someone is pregnant. What the F? We do not need to be doing this. And the editor said, I might just have marriage issues. People jogging, but they look like they're probably doing more harm than good to their body while running. Heavy steps, shitty posture. But then I realized I don't run at all, and if I did, I'd be no better. So yeah, at least they try. I don't. People who don't leash their dogs or have their dogs on leashes, but still let them walk up on people and other dogs. Not everyone wants dog slobber on them, and some people are afraid. Some dogs might attack. Like, keep your dog to yourself. People who smoke cigarettes and then whine about how broke they are, particularly if they are prioritizing money for smokes over other needs. People with heavy plaque buildup. I know not everyone has access to dental care. I acknowledge that. I just hate seeing it, honestly. When a middle-class person has an overly expensive car or truck, I ask myself, who are you trying to impress? You should have put that money into your retirement account. I know. My bad. Appearance, being unkempt and smelly and fat. Anyone who calls himself an activist. I've yet to meet one who does this that is genuinely a well-informed or honest person. It's good to be involved and be a part of making the world a better place, but too often these self-styled ones do nothing more than yell at people online, attend useless marches, and talk over the very people they claim to help. People who don't speak to kids with respect and awareness to what they have a capacity of developmentally. Like, meet them where they're at. Stop trying to handle them because you lack the emotional regulation. Not liking cats. Anyone who's an adult who sits and blasts out loud music in their gardens anytime it's sunny. Some of these reasons to secretly judge people are totally reasonable in my opinion. I think the more asshole thing is the fact that we can't say our opinions because it is deemed to make you an asshole when they're just facts of life. A lot of things I just say are common sense thoughts. Hustle culture was so brainwashed to me. Like, oh no, my value as a person is exclusively determined by how much money I make. Meanwhile, upwards mobility is pretty much a myth. So hustle culture is just capitalism apologists drinking more of the Kool-Aid that they don't even succeed. They very desperately need to believe in a meritocracy, but are really just burning themselves out. It's sad to me because I've seen people get destroyed by it. And Shark Tank is basically hustle culture, the TV show. So many desperate employees coming up with desperate ideas so they can join the ownership class because they realize no one got rich off of a job. Hustle culture makes us all sick, tired, and desperate without making anyone richer. It's absolute propaganda. I will acknowledge their point. But the opposite is true too, pretending that they can't do anything and that by not working hard and trying your best and trying to get ahead somehow makes you, superior to those that do. It's a mentality. Both of them. So whatever. Not my opinion. I don't share that person's opinion, but we include it anyway because we all float down here or something. I don't know. Those jokes about, oops, I accidentally spent $100 random amount on random fun expense. I don't want to hear about how you could accidentally drop that kind of cash. I don't see the point in sharing, and as someone with barely 2 pennies to rub together, it stings. I know it's not personal, just feels like a bit of a tone-deaf thing to share about. I kind of agree with that. People always going on vacations and saying, oh, I had to stop paying bills this month so I can go to a concert or something. I'm like, really, dude? Really? Yeah. Wearing clothing that is obviously not meant for your body types. I don't know how some people can squeeze themselves into some of that shit I see. Yeah. And it's not only that, but, if you don't have certain accentuating assets, there's certain clothes you shouldn't be wearing either. Let's just say that. Where do I start? I think that's pretty much what this whole thing is about. It's just pick something and start. I got downvoted for commenting something similar on a very different thread, even though I fully admitted it. It does make me an asshole to think this, but I internally, secretly judge people for announcing a pregnancy very early. So I don't necessarily judge them, I just think it's wrong. Because if it's too early, it could have... Okay, there's miscarriages, there's things that go on, and I realize you're probably excited and you're happy, and you want people to share in that. But there's a time limit. There's a lot of reason why people said, you don't do that until there's a quickening, and the quickening is when the child first moves in the woman's belly, and that's why you don't really say anything until that happens. That's been in certain cultures, that's just the way it is. I never really announced our pregnancies until it got further on, because I had several miscarriages, and it's probably just safer and more emotionally safe to not do that until you're further along. Again, I understand the excitement, I understand the happiness, but again, as someone who lost several children that way, it's best to wait until it's more secure. That's just me. And I'm probably an asshole for saying that too, but okay. That's what this whole thread is about, so. People who are overly patriotic. Like, I get it. You can think your country is nice and everything, but usually when people think that it is because it's only the country they know, or they have been so heavily propagandized they can't see the good elsewhere while being unable to see the bad where they live. That's why there's immigration. Any form of entitlement, though I don't make secrets about that. Lip, breast, and butt implants. I believe everyone has a right to do whatever they want with their body, and if they want to get implants done, they should. If they like it, great for them, but there is a part of me that judges them for their looks. And then I also judge myself for judging them on how they look. It's a constant inner battle. But at least you're self-aware, see? Okay. Socks and sandals. Buying junk food with your EBT card. Amen, brother. Bringing babies to busy, loud public spaces. A baby is upset and screaming, and now I'm upset because the baby won't shut up during my meal or movie. My asshole rule is if your child still requires to be held or fed by your hand, don't take it in public. Ooh, this one's gross. Making furry art. Part of it is the cringe delusion that some furries seem to have about it being an animal trapped in a human body, but I can definitely live with that. Everyone has their cringe, it just varies on severity and volume. The part that really bothers me is that the art is incredibly prolific, all seeming to share the same generic cartoon style born out of watching The Lion King and anime on loop, and is so frequently fetish-driven. The sheer volume of it made it hard to find art that I liked back when I was a deviant art kid, and it's doing the same thing right now on Blue Sky. I'm not going to start a crusade against furries or anything, but I do judge silently, except for right now. Let's see. People who start with "I'm sorry, but" I never get a pre-apologizer I liked. I never met a pre-apologizer I liked. People, always women for some reason, who jiggle their keys when they talk. Adults who use baby talk, Facebook talk to communicate. And also anyone who uses Facebook. I don't mind the ones who stare off in the distance as I mind the ones staring at their phone. I figure the ones staring off the distance might be trying to compose themselves before they lose control. The ones playing on their phones are actively ignoring the problem. People, cigarettes. I know it's an addiction. I know it's hard to quit, but they stink so much. And it's so bad for the environment. People who call themselves parents of pets, i.e. a dog mom. Mostly because I've met several people like this who are also catty as fuck about actual children. Everyone has to love kids, but if you hate kids, don't use the equivalent terminology for animals. When people defraud the system like Medicaid and food stamps. I reported someone 2 days ago for Medicaid fraud. She said she'd been working over 120 hours every 2 weeks for over 30 years on Maryland medical assistance, and they don't do anything. I noticed this when I forgot to report my income over the course of 2 years, but my state insurance still worked even though I was way over the income limits. Reactivity, especially in patients. When someone follows this relatively new trend of extremely nauseating deodorant, worse even than fat bikers or vapors. People who smoke weed or cigarettes and gripe they don't have money to pay rent. Baseball caps worn backwards by men over the age of 12. My sincerest apologies as a teacher, but what you pack in your child's lunchbox, like go off if it's the end of the week payoff, the pay week, and you're down to throwing in whatever you can scrounge up. We've all been there. But send in day to day of processed packaged food to sustain a busy learner, like a Costco-sized packet of orange chips, an unrefrigerated juice box, and a family pack of jelly beans. Yeah, I'm side-eyeing you. Side-eyeing you. Yeah. Pick up your goddamn feet when you walk. People who watch reality shows. People who come into my place of business with a designer everything that are able-bodied, I know not all disabilities are visible, and are on public assistance for everything. I judge people for being judgmental. I know, I'm a hypocrite and I need to stop. I promise, I am working on it. This is pretty niche. When Germans have a strong accent while speaking English. I am German and I have an accent and I still find it horrible. Finicky people with body sensitivities like easily getting stomach aches, constant allergies, prone to motion sickness, etc. It's always the same people. I can't help but judge their finickiness. I can't even say the word. Conspiracy theorists. Oh no. Oh. I know what low stakes judginess I feel when I will annoy a large percentage of people on Reddit. I judge people who wear pajamas out of the house. Haha. Also, people who stay in their pajamas all day when they don't have to leave the house. It just feels gross on my skin to be thinking about not changing into some fresh clothes in the morning. People stopping shopping carts in an aisle and then standing on the other side of the same aisle, blocking the passage of everyone else trying to shop. Extra hatred for those who hold on to their carts with an extended arm. People who don't recycle when it's easy to do. I'm not talking about militant recycling or being zero waste. I know it's not exactly saving the planet by recycling, but like chucking your single-use plastic water bottle into the trash can when the bin is right next to the recycle. It just screams ignorance, entitlement to me, and yeah, I'm going to be a judgy asshole about it. This is so douchey of me, but I live in a very fit city with an awesome hike and bike trail. Anytime someone is getting their cardio in while also loudly conducting some type of office business on their little earpiece, I make fun of them. Quietly, to my dog. Like, we do get it, dude. Save some getting your life together for the rest of us. This is an odd one, but medical doctors who believe it qualifies them as biologists. There are definitely some who are amazing scientists and will work with plenty of those. I work with plenty of those. But also there's plenty who believe they are better than any other doctor just because they aren't real doctors. I am an alcoholic with 13 years sobriety. I always judge how much people drink. Third nipples. Can't do them. I'm an asshole. Well, we're going to leave it at that one because I don't think that one can be topped. And I don't really think anyone wants to top that one. So anyway, hope you have enjoyed this video. Leave a like, maybe subscribe to the channel. There's lots of other videos on here. Go find one or two, listen to them. And thank you again for listening and watching. I'll talk to you later.